Hey everybody, my name is Kalle Slaap, watchmaker from the Netherlands, and a battered and bruised Tudor Oysterdate. The owner bought it as new some time ago, and just look at that. We do have to do a full revision, full restoration. So much to see, so much to do. Well, when you watch this, I'll be in London, England, so it is a live stream, but pre-recorded. Just look at that. It is, oh wow. As always, I don't do any work up front. Well, I did open the watch case to see if everything is original, but after that, no, no work. So here, Montre Tudor 79160, and well, we had to do some homework, and luckily we do have the original Tudor documentation. So there, 79160, the caliber 7750, already know that. We know what crown it is they use, and especially here the crystal, it's a cyclop, which means it's got a date lens plexi, and 25130. Well, I ordered one already, but not that easy to find one here in Europe anyway. So we know what washers to use. Good information. So there we are. Here the inside. Well, in a moment you'll be watching with me. Well, there's the camera, and you're watching with me through my microscope, and there is the watch. I see I do need to calibrate. There we are. Now we see the same. Here, the Tudor Swiss automatic Prince. Okay. And it is a 7750 movement. Well, first things first, there is some moisture involved. Can already see that. And do you see here on the right edge there is some discoloration? I think we already know that this ball bearing has got some play. I use a piece of packwood so I don't make any scratches. But if I press here and you look there, see what happens. That is a fair amount of play, so we do have to address that. Otherwise, first the visual inspection. Well, sometimes you wish you didn't do a visual inspection. And as always, the first tool a watchmaker buys is disinfectant soap. For obvious reasons. There we are. Well, let's see the case. Plenty to do. Well, look at that over there. Well, the crystal we're going to replace. Now, that is really worn. Wow. There's enough DNA to repopulate a complete planet. Well, nothing that can be solved so far. Let's remove the rotor. There we go. Well, again, a pre-recorded session, so I am sorry I cannot react to any questions in the chat. Maybe I'll be joining the chat from England, but I'm not too sure right now. Well, first visual inspection with you guys. Interesting to see the KIF shock system instead of the Inca block, but what is going on here? At least interesting. What the hell is the green stuff? It's kind of hard and flaky. Well, yeah. Well, it is everywhere. Well, these are the filings from the click. Well, it is going to be an adventure. We know that for sure. That green flaky is everywhere. Not the normal lubrication, and it is in quite a quantity. Let's use a piece of packwood, don't make any scratches. It's really on top. Well, if we saw the case back here, Montre Tudor, we saw already, where was it? The owner showed me that there and there, especially here, do you see? You see they are moving a bit upwards, especially that one. That is opened by a vandal. Not using the correct tools. That is such a shame. Do you see that here? Especially this one. They tapped it open. Oh well. Well, here are the poussoirs. And I love this system. You just screw them out and then you can use them. And then screw them back in. They go very tough. And then here, when they fully screwed in, then you just, it's locked. Love that system. Well, we've checked the numbers and they are correct. This is completely original, but there is a certain lack of finish. But then again, first take out the winding stem, see if any information that gives us. What are your views on Tudor as a Rolex brand? Well, quite dry, no recently applied lubricants. Do you have any views on Tudor as a brand or a sub-brand? Any particular models you like or aspire to even? Well, those are the two screws that retain the movement in the case, but still this is excessive and really deep in the movement. Very unusual what this is. And here even on the balance wheel. And here the timing pins. I think we are going to see some surprises. There's definitely stuff there. I love that I can show you this in so much detail because there is so much going on. That green stuff is evenly distributed over the complete movement. Well, if anything, interesting. Well, the movement stopped just about every, especially with quartz, but a movement with a date usually stops just before 12 o'clock because then the date calendar function needs more force and then the movement stops. And this is so common. Well, there we are. A slight discoloration in the hands. What's this? Might be a hair, not too sure yet. We'll see in a moment. Interesting. Well, 7/750 movement, so I like to remove first the chronograph second hand. And then the hour and the minute hands. There. So first the chronograph second hand. There. Now the hour, minute and the subdials. That's the way I prefer on the 7/750 movement to take off the hands. Well, and this is a trick I learned at Worstep in Neuchâtel. No need to grip the hands when they're loose. Just throw them in something soft. They are so delicate, really don't want to. Damage them in any way. There we go. Well, as you saw, a piece of film not actually touching the hands and actually touching the dial. Yeah, there we are. So there is the dial, not leaving any marks when releasing it from the hands, but I want to see what this is. Is it a fiber, maybe even during print? It's more in the dial. Well, with certain light you don't see anything. I think it's in the white print. Well, cool. There we are. And on the Tudor sign, badge, icon, you can see there's been some moisture in there with that discoloration. Very distinctive. Well, now make sure the dial comes off. There. Sorry I cannot welcome you. It is live watchmaking, but pre-recorded. I'm on a family holiday in London. So what I've been doing is those two retainers for the dial feet, pull them out, and now easy, gently removing the dial. There we are. Sorry. The beautiful dial. Lovely stuff. So now we're left with an basically box standard 7750. So I could have known that I would need a movement holder for a 7750. Not really a surprise. So that is the one. Push back the dial feet retainers. Otherwise you bend them in the movement holder. There we are. Like that. Yeah. Now it's nice and stable in the Horia movement holder. So why not remove the calendar function? And why is this one still there? That is interesting. Look, oh, you saw the movement was stopped 11:30 when the movement was pushing against the date ring. Look at that. You can see the movement was indeed pushing against the date ring, took too much force, and then it stopped. This is exactly why you cannot change the date or set the hands between, well, roughly 11 o'clock p.m. and 1 o'clock a.m. Because these two fingers, that one and that one, if there was a day ring, aren't retractable. So even if you do anything with your movement, they will move, or yeah, it is pushing against the date ring, so you cannot do anything else. For me it's a design flaw, but then again, still 7750 and a beautiful movement. Real workhorse with some fiddly springs. There we are. So screw number 1 and number 2. And now I'm going to remove the plate. And there is the really fiddly spring. Ill-advised to show it under the microscope while people are watching. So if you can just get some coffee. There's the one. There's the two. Luckily no one's watching. It is a tiny spring with quite some force, and these two are just loose, so it can happen. Of course it never happened to me, that you end up on your knees looking for the spring. I would like to make sure that the date ring, even though this one is box standard, but that is safe as well. That's why I do that first. And the regular viewers already know that I'm handling the date ring like this. And if you have a real close look, you see I'm not actually touching the print. There it is. You see it's hanging in my tweezer. So I'm touching the sides but not the print on the date ring. For me, this is the safest way to handle the date ring. So don't press too hard, because then it will get straight and you'll be touching the print. But this way you're not actually touching the print. Again, for me, the safest way. But then again, whatever gives you the best result is by definition the best way of doing for you. See it as my best practice, and you can make up your mind if you want to do it your way or not. It is watchmaking, it is so personal. What tools to use, there are so many different solutions for the same problem. Here, there's the calendar. There's a small spring, yeah, just over there. It's all really sticky. When I took off this plate of the calendar, this small yoke was stuck against the inside, so it is really sticky, and still not too sure where the greenish crumbly stuff comes from. Is the hour recorder with the slip, with the delta spring. It is a lovely movement to work on. There we go. Here the hour wheel and the cannon pinion. again real stuck. This cannon pinion doesn't have a notch in the side, so the friction for setting the hands doesn't come from here, from the cannon pinion, but is located here. This is a small wheel with the friction for setting the hands. If you're into watchmaking, please have a look at our YouTube channel Chronoglide, and I made a video especially about the cannon pinion and how it works. I think it's fascinating. Well, the really thin scoops, and here that's why there's a recess there and there, so you can go underneath. There we are. Underneath there's a triangular shaped spring, and that is what you use for setting the hands. There's the friction coming from, not a cannon pinion. As you probably all know already, be extremely careful with those incredibly long pivots. One is missing, but I already disassembled the hour recorder from there, so there are only 3 very delicate pinions sticking out, protruding. Wow. First I remove this, and then coffee time. Again, I'm sorry I cannot answer your questions because it is live watchmaking, but it is pre-recorded. I'm with the family in London. Really looking forward to it. We're going to show my bonus son the Natural History Museum, and I'm sure he's going to explode from excitement. He loves stuff like that. Well, as tourists, of course, and something we all like, the 5 of us, is we're going to the avatars of ABBA. Yes, I'm going to say it out loud. I am man enough to say I love ABBA and the Bee Gees, among many others in music, from Motown to Metallica. Waarom kom jij er niet uit? But that's something we all like. Strange, it was so stuck, this one. But we're going into interesting territory. Just look at that. Houston, we have an oil spill on our hands. And as we see from the screw heads, it didn't see any maintenance for a really long time. So all this is displacement of lubrication, and probably due to moisture. Sliding pinion, and the winding pinion. There is the hacking function, the balance stop, sliding away. And in a moment you'll be seeing that hacking function when I remove the top layer for the wheel, gear train. Well, there we are. Just a quick inspection. And just that green gunk stuff it is. Well, actually a bit excited to see what we'll find. And that's what I love about this movement holder here. All the pivots are safe. And there, if you're going to push on your hands again, all the rubies are supported. Lovely stuff. Well, one thing we don't know for sure if there's still any power on the mainspring. We might be working on a grenade over here. So first I'm going to remove the module here for the automatic winding. There. By removing the, we call it the paper clip, and this huge spring. Cheers everybody, so nice that you're here. So there the paper clip. And this spring not making any scratches, and lifting it over. There we are. Lifting it over. Nice and sturdy one is this one. I want to slide it over the edge. Another thing nobody shows under a microscope, but now going in the hole and lift it over the edge, so you don't get that a horrible scratch there. That is so unnecessary. There's the huge spring. Again, you can see the moisture marks underneath. Now I can remove the automatic winding module. We get deeper and deeper into the movement. And when this Tudor is restored, you'll be ready for many, many years of service. I have quite a bit of watches, but I don't think I've ever owned a Tudor. There's not really a reason for it, but just, yeah. That is really, really sticky. That's old lubrication on that post. There is the click. Look at the pivots. Could be worse. What is that? Did you see that? Just a green rim of old lubrication crap. That's just all filings and... Ooh. That is so interesting. Due to the lack of maintenance, do you see that this hole isn't round anymore? It's oval shaped. There. You can see it isn't a ruby, so the hardened steel worn away. The pivots are okay, and this hole is just worn. And we are not going to use the old clockmaker trick of pushing it out and 180 degrees and pushing it back in. So the pivot will be pushing against that side, because now you can see here it is oval shaped. So either we are going to replace this bearing by a steel one or just a ruby one, because this is really worn. Then you can see the filings of the click everywhere. And then here inside, this is going to be so interesting, because we know there's been moisture, but might it been, there's been moisture but there's no rust, but you can see traces here of the moisture. Was it maybe condensation? Many changes in temperature, so not that all moisture came in, but there was condensation during temperature changes. The jury is out. Don't know yet. There, the vertical clutch. And now dead straight. It's a huge pivot. We'll have to clean it first, but looks pretty okay. Then the dog bone, spring. the minute counter. Looks pretty okay. Excellent. Well, those are the long pivots that can be removed. Now I'm going to remove that one, and then this huge lever, because on the side there's a spring as well, and it would be nice if that spring was removed. There we go. Again, not making any scratches. So now this big lever, then the spring on the side, and then just to be sure that the power is from the mainspring, I'm going to remove the balance wheel and pallet fork. So in the alternative way, releasing power from the mainspring. There we go. There you can see the spring on the side. And I use a tweezer number 5. I like the titanium the best. But now I want to have a bit more grip. So there. Push it upwards, and there we go. With just a bit of experience, it is so much easier to work on. Well, why not remove the cam while we're at it? I must say I expected a bit more finishing, but maybe, well, not maybe, it is a bit of a sign of a time for Tudor. There's the cam. Maybe it's me and I'm just silly, but the way I always can remember how to place this is in a strange parallel universe. I see the RSO sign of the albums of Eric Clapton, the Robert Stickwood organization. It is an, I don't know even what it is an elephant? But I always see the Eric Clapton album sign, the red, in this cam. So I don't always know just exactly how to place it. But that's just me. Well, remove the balance wheel. And then the balance fork and all the power of the mainspring that might be still there will be released. carbon tip tweezers, not to make any scratches. What do you think of the movement with the finishing and stuff? Is it what you expect? It is still, well, quite a valuable watch. Just lovely to work on. 1 and 2. And now see what happens. 3, 2, 1. There you go. It really stopped on the calendar. And you can see still it's not releasing all the power, so well, now this plate with that one and that one and that one. And I really would love to see what the hell is going on in there underneath. Wow. Here. Well, plenty of work in the cleaning machine. Hey, this one was loose, this screw. Really not tight at all. I think with a piece of packwood, so not making any scratches, but still. Do you see that? It's all the horribleness, and you can wipe it off. So, almost at the end. Well, what do we see here? It's all original, and but I always feel, because these 3 screws are the same, that this one deserved another screw. It's just me and I'm just being silly, but this screw head feels too small. Just me. And I know it's the movement's been running for decades, many decades. It was developed in the late 50s, early 60s, I think. But this one shouldn't be the same as those two. That ratchet wheel deserved a better screw head. Simply too small. Wow. That is in need of serious hammer time. Well, the winding wheel. Stuck together. Well, once this movement is clean, it's going to make such a difference. Hey, this one was quite loose as well. That is interesting. So there's that one. I have to concentrate for a moment. There we are. Still wondering what the green gunk stuff is. No. Oh, look at that. That is just horrible. What do you think? Hey. That fiber shouldn't be there. It is a lot. Oh wow. Well, and now the pivots. Well, this one is huge. That should be okay. Those flakes are simply dried up lubrication. Wow. Again, could be worse. It is a sturdy, well-designed movement. This one's got the elongated pivot for the... Oh, look at that. Ooh. Wow. I think it's in need of some TLC. Well, this one got an elongated pivot for the second hand on the dial side. And the escape wheel. It's all sticky and old and crappy and just look at, well, in my world, the air gap between the arbor and the ear. No hammer time. This is simply completely worn. And we have to replace. Oh, do that here. Simply have to replace the barrel. No hammer time, that is simply completely worn. Well, and here you see the hacking function. Not elegant design, but very functional. Here's the sliding pinion, and if you set the hands, it will slide this way, and here this piece will touch the balance wheel and stop the balance for setting the hands really accurately to a mother clock. Well, plenty of work to this for this Tudor. I'm convinced when we're finished it's going to be perfect, well worn Tudor chronograph. It's been quite a long time ago since it's seen any maintenance, but then again we're going to do a full restoration and I'm going to share the end result. All of you, thank you so much for watching. Pre-recorded session. I'm in London, England, when you see this, and now you can see that the real added value of a live stream is the contact with you guys in the chat. That's always the real joy of doing a live stream. All of you, enjoy your evening. I hope to stream live from London in between the streams. And again, if you're into watchmaking, please have a look at our YouTube channel Chronoglide. All of you, thank you so much. See ya. Bye bye.